February 7th, 2016. Mom, I've spent the day being lazy. Today is the Super Bowl, which means nothing to me, but it's a big deal for everyone else in here. Instead, I've been watching FX Movie Channel. On the weekends, they usually play family-type movies. Today I've watched The Croods, Turbo, and Despicable Me 2. I've heard that Nikki and Josh like these, and in some small way it helps me feel just a little closer to them. Aaron sent me some more pictures of them the other day. They've grown so much. It's amazing to see them, even though it's bittersweet. These are my babies, and I've missed out on so much. I should be right in the middle of their lives, the most important man at this point. I'm grateful that Dad has filled in for me, but even that doesn't take away the pain. There is a dignity in resisting tyranny, in standing up against injustice of any kind, a place where conscience overrides fear, where doing the hard right instead of the easy wrong becomes a matter of honor. I hope that in all of this, when it's all over, that I will be able to lay back and be able to see God's hand working throughout the whole process. That said, I'm still human. I struggle with bitterness on a daily basis. It bothers me, not because I don't feel justified, but because I have been commanded to forgive in spite of all that has been done to me, and it's infinitely harder to do in practice than it is to say. And every time I think about the overall circumstances, I feel even more justified. Even with everything she was doing to Aaron and I, we just sat there and took it. We didn't fight back. In fact, Aaron even recommended do a star 6-9 to find out who was pranking her and make a police report. The irony is that was stalking Aaron and blaming her for the prank calls. Pulled every dirty trick in the book while Aaron and I took the high road. The stalking, the harassment, manipulation of family, the lies she told in the divorce to CPS, the judge, the news, and the Portland cold case police. We didn't fight back at all. Then came this. We fought as much and as hard as we could. We tried to make the best decisions we could given the situation and the advice we had been given. We didn't have any idea what we were doing, but we tried. It was so ridiculous, all of it, that we knew the police would see through it any second and drop the whole thing. It was surreal. It didn't matter that there was no evidence to support the claim. It didn't matter that their witnesses were impeachable in their own statements. It didn't matter that the scientific medical data was also in my favor. It didn't matter that the police destroyed evidence. It didn't matter that Aaron and I were victims of theirs. We were still on trial, or I was anyway. But even though I was the one on trial, my entire family has been victimized by all of this. We made the best decisions we could given the information we had. It was only after finding out all we didn't know then that we can see the massive failures of the police and DA's office, not to mention John, that resulted in my impossible situation. It was the second president of the United States, John Adams, that said, "Facts are a stubborn thing," and so they are. It's a fact that they are now going to have to answer to. It's facts, not speculation, that is going to accuse them. There is no way to falsely interpret their lies, their lack of integrity, their misconduct, and this I find so hard to forgive. If it wasn't for God, I would not be able to cope with the realities of all of this. If not for God, I would hate the world. If not for God, I would want revenge for all that has been done to me. It's because of Him that I can get through the day without medication. Although I haven't mastered forgiveness, whatever mastered means, I would gladly choose peace for all parties involved. Peace with law enforcement, peace with the DA's office, peace with the court, but most important would be peace with Him and the children. I want nothing more than for my children to grow up without this weed of cancer, of hate and fear growing inside of them. They believe that they are fatherless, abandoned, unloved. That is simply not true, but it's the kind of pain that will haunt my children for the rest of their lives. I'm not okay with that. So I guess I have no real choice but to expose them all for what they have done. It's the only way for the truth to come out, for the weed in their heart to be pulled. I forgive the police, DA, judge, etc. But the truth will be told, and since I don't see any of them accepting responsibility for their actions, The only way to hold them accountable is to do this publicly. What we are doing is not an act of revenge. It's seeking justice, and it is aimed at the system as much as the individuals who failed so massively. But they have an opportunity. They are in a position to be heroes by doing the right thing immediately and without delay. If they will see it, take immediate action, and be willing to pay a common sense restitution, they would go a long way towards showing the public that they have integrity and that the public can trust them to do the right thing. There's no way that can come through this as a hero. She is the lead conspirator, and her list of victims include the agencies she manipulated and the taxpayers she has defrauded. I am willing to forgive, meaning not to go after her for damages or press charges, if and only if she is willing to stand up and tell the truth. We have the facts that show her lies. She's going to be exposed anyway, so she only has this to gain by her honesty. For me, it would be vindication and peace of mind. I don't want the feud. It would be access to my kids, not just for me, but my whole family who loves and misses them. It would mean not looking over my shoulder for the rest of my life. For her, it would be saving herself from potential prosecution and a lawsuit. It would be saving some of her reputation, well, her dignity anyway. It would certainly be the best way to keep some of her embarrassing secrets secret. It would also be peace of mind for her, especially if she has convinced herself of her own propaganda that I'm after her in some way. She has dug herself a hole, and she really needs to stop digging. I'm praying that she does the right thing, not just for me, but for her too. I would choose mercy for her, but if they won't stop digging, then I'm powerless to help them. Anyway, that's the direction I'm praying. As much as I would like to keep writing here, I'm emotionally spent, although there is something else that bothers me. Remember on the stand saying I had killed women and children in Iraq in their sleep? Well, I don't. But John had me sitting there completely still, making no movement or showing any emotion. How I missed something like that is beyond me. But what really shocks me is that John didn't react either. No objection to that kind of a statement, as ludicrous as it was. John missed golden opportunities to impeach Mr. Zimmerman and, in essence, the prosecutor for putting the people on the stand. Insane. Anyway, all this makes my brain hurt, but it's so stupid. So I'm going to get this in the mail. I love you, Mom. Thank you for making this fight with me. Love, Steve.